Oops, I guess I can't do that. Put my notes in front of the camera. Hello, this is Shari, the Realtor. Today we're diving into an exciting and crucial topic for many homeowners age 55 and older, preparing your beloved home for sale in a way that maximizes its appeal and value. I'm Shari, the Realtor, and our guest is Jason McBeth, owner of Renovation Sells Southwest Minneapolis, a company dedicated to modernizing spaces with quick cosmetic updates, making homes market ready while alleviating the stress of renovations. If you've been considering downsizing but are concerned about the time and effort required to update your home, this episode is for you. Welcome, Jason.
Thanks, Shari. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, you too. Good to see you. Well, why don't you tell us about Renovation Sells and the unique services that you offer?
Absolutely. And you actually did a great job of hitting a bunch of the high points of Renovation Sells, but I'll fill in a couple of additional details about it. What Renovation Sells is and what we offer is we offer design, construction, and financing solutions for homeowners, all in one location. In today's market, it's really important to be able to have partners that you can trust. And that's what I bring to you as a homeowner that's thinking about selling your home, thinking about downsizing. Unlike average contractors, our process is streamlined, simple, and fast.
It is. So that's awesome. And I love the work that you guys do. So let's actually take a step back quick. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, your skills and how you came to own a Renovation Sells?
Yeah, absolutely. It has been an amazing experience working with you and working with other real estate agents and homeowners, especially that 55 plus that are in the midst of often a transition of some sort. Prior to joining and becoming an owner of Renovation Sells, I spent 13 years in the healthcare industry. When I was in that industry, was designing and selling solutions to employers that were really designed to help employees to maintain or improve their health. Now, with Renovation Sells, I create solutions for homeowners to modernize their existing space and unlock any hidden equity that's in their existing homes. While those products and industries couldn't be more different, the way I approach my business is the exact same. In healthcare, when I worked there for all those years, I had the satisfaction of knowing that my solutions were impacting people's lives, but I always knew something was missing. And that's when I found Renovation Sells. Renovation Sells is an organization that's focused on simple cosmetic transformations that create joy for those selling, buying, or staying in their homes. I really today have the privilege of helping people in my local community and interacting with local business owners on a shared mission. So whether you're downsizing, upsizing, or just need a change, Renovation Sells is here to help, because if you don't have the time or resources to manage that opportunity, work with me and I can help you, guide you along the way.
Absolutely. I love it. I'm just going to hit a button here. Let me see. I forgot to turn this one lamp.
And while we're doing that, Shari, I do have a quick video. Maybe we can pull that up as we're talking. This is just a couple of seconds that shows some of these transformations that we achieve. What you're seeing is just a simple slideshow. It's a before and after. In the middle, you see how our designers come up with a recommendation. This one's a bathroom. Here's some of the elements that we recommended for that cosmetic transformation and the after photo. The message here is that we don't remove walls, we don't build things, we don't take things down. We take your existing space and focus on how can we maximize the profit potential, unlock that hidden equity that's already in your home. This beautiful kitchen, it's already there. It just needs some additional elements to appeal to a buyer in some of these examples. Shari, I think we lost your audio. It's not on my side, is it? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
There you are. There you are. I was hoping it wasn't
Oh,
something that I did with the video, but
I must have bumped something when I was turning that light on. Sorry about that. Those pictures were amazing to see the before and after. And some homeowners or some buyers, home buyers, have a really hard time seeing beyond what's there to um, renovate and get things to the next stage. And they'll pass over houses because they're like, oh, that's not what I want. And honestly, a lot of people just don't like the work of having to do the renovations. And it's not like you're, tearing down walls and stuff, like you said. It's really some cosmetic things of paint and stuff that countertops that just can really spruce a place up and make it look a lot better for someone that's coming to buy it. And it makes a difference too for the homeowner if they're looking to sell, how much they can actually get for their home. So talk a little bit about that. Let's see, any success stories, anything in specific where you could talk about, like where somebody did some renovations for $20,000 and they got an extra 50,000 out of their house, or anything like that?
yeah, absolutely. One of my main goals in every situation is thinking about that maximizing the profit potential when we're completing a project. And Sherry, I think you hit the nail on the head. Today's buyers, they are looking for turnkey homes in most cases. They don't have the time, the energy, the resources to think through of what that might look like. They just
Mhm,
want something that's move-in ready. A couple
mhm,
of months ago, I had an opportunity to work with a couple in Eagan. They were downsizing. They had lived in their home for about 35 years, 34, 35 years. And it just needed a quick refresh to really think about what that buyer is looking for. They had maintained it
mhm,
very well. But what we did is we came in there and we painted the entire house and put new flooring in the entire upper level of the house. It was a split entry home. In that case, they invested about $15,000 for those renovations, and they ended up selling that home on the first weekend it was listed for above list price. And their net profit after that $15,000 investment was an additional $40,000. What that
nice.
means is that house sold for $55,000 more than had they done nothing. So
Yeah.
really, that is the goal. And those are the type
Mhm,
of success stories that I focus on every single day in every conversation with you and your clients. And we think about homeowners. How can we maximize that profit potential, unlock that equity through paint, flooring? Some of those examples on that video, it does not have to be as dramatic as a kitchen transformation. It can be paint and carpet.
mhm.
Although kitchens, primary bathrooms, often the center of a home, those are the number one and number two projects that we often see.
Absolutely, because people really look at the kitchen and the primary bathroom.
Absolutely.
That's what the women are looking at. If it's a couple that's coming in the house, and you hate to say it, but that's what they look at, and the man goes and opens the garage. It's hilarious when I'm showing single women. I forget and they forget to look in the garage sometimes because it's not important to the women. They're like, okay, my car is going to fit whatever, but that's important to the men. Okay,
Mhm.
that garage is going to fit whatever that they've got in their mind. So some people might be saying, okay, well, that's great, but I don't have $15,000. How on earth am I going to even pay for this? But you guys have a great solution for that.
We do, absolutely. I mentioned at the beginning, Renovation Sells offers design, project management, construction, and financing all in one solution. We partner with a national financial institution to offer a financing option to that seller to help pay for the investment in the renovations that maximizes that potential. How that financing works is it's a 6-month, no interest, no payment financing solution through First National Bank of Omaha. What we talk about at our initial walkthrough is we talk about budget, we talk about scope of the project. I'll offer this financing option. If the homeowner would like more information, they can apply right on the spot and learn a little bit more about how much money they have available to them in this line of credit. I mentioned it's 6 months, no interest, no payments. How that works with clients that utilize this financing is they use the financing to invest in the renovations. The house sells. They use the proceeds from the sale of the house to pay off the financing. And in that situation, it costs them nothing to take advantage of this financing option.
Absolutely. And with the house properly marketed and now have some good fresh paint and flooring and whatever, it's going to sell much faster. And you get to the closing table. If it takes longer than 6 months in this market, that would be just terrible. So, I mean, like, meaning like you didn't do the agent didn't do the job right if it took longer than that. So you shouldn't have to put that money out. You should just have to pay it at the closing table. And, you know, it works out really well. And then you get more money for your home out of the deal.
Absolutely. One of the stats that Renovation Sells and I'm really proud of is about 35 to 40% of our clients utilize this financing option. And it's exactly how you described, Shari. I don't know of a single one that has exceeded that 6 month, no interest, no payment period because they
Mhm.
are using the proceeds. It's a great
Yeah,
option.
it really is. So let me see here, looking at my questions, some things. Why don't we talk about the renovation process? So, because I know that you guys are able to work faster than your typical contractor coming in as well to do the homes.
Absolutely. Because we're focused on cosmetic or light renovations to refresh an existing space, the process is much faster. What the process is it's really a 5-step process. Most of the time, partnering with your real estate agent, partnering with Shari, the three of us, or a combination, will walk through on step one and just have a tour of the property. Try to look and determine what the scope of the project might be. Thinking of that strategic renovation that's going to maximize the profit potential is really that goal of that initial meeting. We'll talk about the financing option during that meeting. From there, once we have alignment on the scope and understanding of what we're going to um, renovate, I'll put together a proposal. And that proposal will have
Mhm.
all the details about what we're going to do, the and the areas we're going to focus on. From there, I've got a design team. And that
Mhm.
design team will take about a week because they will take some time to really understand that house in that neighborhood, to understand within the scope of what we're touching on, what are we not touching? How do we coordinate those? That process takes about 2 weeks from our initial session to having a design completed. You saw that design board in the middle of the video
Mhm.
of the fixtures
Mhm.
and finishes. From there, we start construction, and construction takes about 3 weeks on average to complete, start to finish. And that's even in those examples of a full kitchen refresh. So start to finish from our first initial meeting to when I'm out the door is about 4 to 6 weeks on average. The important thing is you are aware of every step of the way and understand what days we're
Mhm.
going to be in there, what we're going to be doing on those days, and when to expect us to be finished with everything.
Mhm. So let's talk about, like, for example, if you're going to put new carpet in the bedrooms and the living room, does a homeowner need to like move all their furniture out of the way? Do you guys do that? How does that work?
Yeah. What's one thing that's really great is one of the people I partner with flooring, they will move furniture out of the way to remove and install new carpet in those bedrooms in that
Mhm.
example. How it works best is when we have the opportunity to be in that home, either after the homeowner has moved out, or if the homeowner does have an opportunity to be away from the home for that period of time when we are in construction. We've done it both ways. Sometimes the homeowner's there, sometimes they're not.
Mhm.
Sometimes the house is vacant, sometimes it's not. We'll just work with you. That's part of that process of
Mhm.
understanding during that 6 weeks period. What do we need to do to prep the space for what we're installing? And how do we then move things back if we need to?
Absolutely. I think you mentioned this, but I want to make sure that the people caught this. I think you're saying that in that design process, they're looking at the homes around the area too to see what they are looking like. Um, is that correct? Because you want yours to be finished comparable to what has been selling recently so that, you're not over refinished, but you're also not under and not going to get as much of money.
That's a really important point. When we're having a conversation with the homeowner and making these recommendations, part of that conversation is understanding what comparable homes in the area have sold for recently. Because your
Hmm.
point is absolutely spot on. We can't over renovate. because that may create a problem. We certainly
Mhm.
want to maximize the return or the profit on that renovation. So it's a very strategic conversation. And our design team, they work within those parameters to think about, once we have alignment on the scope, they're going to think about the types of finishes and fixtures that are going to fit within that particular home and neighborhood.
Mhm.
So it doesn't stand out or not fit with the character of the home and the neighborhood.
Mhm. Absolutely. Uh, that makes so much sense. You never want the nicest home on the block. You want to live
Yeah,
next to them. And when we built
absolutely.
our house 20 some years ago, people next to us became that nicest house on the block. Oh my gosh, they put in over $10,000 of landscaping. This wasn't a neighborhood where you do that in. They had this fish pond and like, oh my goodness, it was crazy. It was cute, but then they decided to sell because they couldn't handle the steps anymore. It was interesting. So you want to live next to those people because then it brings the value of your home up.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, and we see those examples all day, every day, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So what trends are you seeing in the renovation market, particularly for older homes looking to downsize?
It's interesting. I think the homes that are looking to downsize, or perhaps someone has lived in that home for an extended period of time, we see that pretty often. And I would say trends that we see in that type of space is just that simple refresh. Oftentimes, and I'll include my own house in this example, I've lived here for 15 years, and we have a lot of things in our house that we've maintained very well. They do look nice, but are they what a buyer is looking for? And in most
Mhm.
cases in my house, I would say no. And I would say the same when I tour houses, especially perhaps those that are thinking about downsizing or a transition scenario. They are a little bit dated in terms of paint, flooring, kitchen
Mhm.
countertops, kitchen cabinets, backsplashes, some of those elements. And if we can come in and just use a paint on the cabinets rather than a full replacement of cabinets, it's a much more cost-effective solution. You saw that a little bit on the video where we saw just a simple transformation using paint. Same with
Mhm.
cabinets, or I'm sorry, countertops and backsplashes. Very simple transformation, but makes such a
Mhm.
dramatic difference. And I would say those are some of the key trends that I see out in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. What advice would you give homeowners that are considering renovating before selling their homes?
I would say, it's a great strategic conversation with your real estate agent, someone like me that could come in and be that resource for you. Think about what that profit potential is. I think that that's one thing that sometimes gets overlooked, is that we think about, when we're selling our house, why would we make an investment in the house we're moving out of when I've
Mhm.
lived here for 15 years? And when you think about that profit potential, my example that I shared earlier about the couple in Egan that had lived there
Mhm.
for 35 years, they made an additional $40,000 on the sale of their price that they would not have done had they done nothing
Mhm.
or not made those
Mhm.
simple updates of paint and flooring.
Mhm.
That's the advice that I would give, is really consider the big picture of the additional profit potential. Consider that this is not a long-term project. We aren't talking about months of construction. We're talking about a matter
Mhm.
of weeks. And the whole idea is to make this simple, streamlined, fast, easy, and as the least amount of disruption to you and your family and your timeline as we can possibly have.
Absolutely. And I want to make sure people understand too that it's not a guarantee you're going to get more. You see it a lot, but don't want people to feel like, okay, well, they're guaranteeing I will get more than what I've invested in the property. So I don't want to set you up for that kind of conversation.
Absolutely. That's another really great point, Sherry, is that, when we're having these conversations and in that initial walkthrough, we're trying to be very strategic and trying to think what is going to maximize that profit. But there certainly is the variables that we can't control. We can't control um, that buyer that walks in the door.
Mhm.
We can't control or guarantee a profit, but that is the goal we have on every single scenario. When I think about Renovation Sells, we're a franchise-based business, and I can't think of an example in this market or any other market where we haven't been able to achieve that goal.
That's awesome. That's exciting because that's what people want and that's what they hope for.
Mhm.
Just know that, like, if some big disaster happens, in the economy or whatever, things can change. However,
Mhm.
this is a really good thing because you can create that fight for your home really among buyers, which is what I'm always looking for with my clients, to help them find that one crazy buyer, I call them, that one who wants it so bad they're willing to just do whatever it takes to get that home. And
Mhm.
so this can help because the house is ready for them. It's interesting, even people who think they're okay with coming in to renovate it. I've a couple that they went in and they bought a house recently. I thought, well, we'll just, we'll refresh it ourselves. And they quickly went, we're going to hire someone to do the painting for us because it's a lot of work, especially when you don't know what you're doing, because that just all that prep. I mean, it takes longer to prep for painting than it does to actually paint, to make sure you don't end up with paint all over the place. Oh my gosh, I can tell you a funny thing. I went in a house with a client recently and we were like, oh my gosh, did they have like massive water damage in here? Because all along the ceiling, there was like, I don't know, 2 inches of this darker color and it looked like water damage. Like, what the heck happened? Did the roof get damaged and they didn't fix this in here? What in the world? So I called the agent and she's like, oh no, it was just the way that they were painting. They took the roller up to the ceiling, up to the ceiling. And then we looked together like, yep, that's what it is. What
Oh
the
my
heck?
gosh.
That was just a little crazy. So don't do that if you're painting your house because it makes it look like water damage,
Oh
especially
my
with the
gosh.
color of paint that they used. It was really funny.
It is amazing. And, I think about, again, going back to what the market is and what buyers are looking for. They're looking for turnkey. I think
Mhm,
most people, I mean, we're all busy and we have a lot of things going on in our lives. And
mhm,
those of us that have tried the DIY route, sometimes fall into that category where we get started and realize it takes a very long time. And if
mhm,
I can get something that's just turnkey, what I want, without having the time, the energy, the expense, and everything else that goes along with that, the
mhm.
stress of trying to do it on my own. That's the value that renovation sales can offer.
Absolutely. So, what would be the most rewarding part of helping homeowners prepare their homes for sale? Or, some of them keep it too, some renovate and stay there.
Mhm. What's the most valuable or rewarding part of that? I think it's the
Mhm,
look on their face.
mhm,
I've done a couple of projects like the Egan one I've referenced earlier. And, I think it's the look on their face and the reaction that they provide to me of, I can't believe the difference this has made. Why haven't
mhm,
we done this before? My house was so dark and look at how bright it is now that has this
mhm,
fresh coat of paint. Some of these simple things that
mhm,
can truly transform that space. And I think every time I hear that, that's what gives me a lot of satisfaction. When I go back to
mhm,
why did I get involved with renovation cells in healthcare, I had that opportunity to see some impacts of the solutions I was putting in place, but I didn't get to see their face, or maybe I didn't know at an individual level. And here with renovation cells, I can see people's face, real estate agents' faces, homeowners'
mhm,
faces. Not too often do I see the buyer's face, but I certainly know that because of what we did, we can make that
mhm.
impact for them as well.
Absolutely. Um, so, are there any last thoughts or things you want to make sure people know about renovation cells?
I think that I would just reiterate the point that I made at the beginning. We are an all-in-one solution that we manage the design process. I manage the entire project from start to finish, the construction. We have that financing option where we can think about how do we
Mhm,
support the investment to drive that maximum profit potential. It's really important to have someone you trust, and that's the type of
mhm,
image that I try to put out there, is that I am someone that can trust, that is a little bit different than your average contractor. We're not
mhm,
on an extended project. We don't have extended lead times in most cases, meaning that if we come into your house tomorrow, my goal is as soon as possible, we start that construction and we finish in a short time frame.
mhm,
We're really
mhm,
streamlined, simple, and fast.
mhm. Awesome. Well, I'm excited because I have a new homeowner that wants to list, and I think she's a perfect candidate for your company to come in because it needs a lot of refreshing in the home. but it's a nice home. It just could use some paint, some flooring, kitchen cabinets, some refreshing on there, and then it's like, oh my gosh, she's just going to get an amazing amount of money for that house, which is awesome because she's a widow now and she needs to make sure she's taking care of herself financially for the future. So that's good. Well, awesome. Well,
Absolutely.
thank you, Jason. It was wonderful to talk with you here today. Good to see you again. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks so much, Shari. Appreciate it.